And I've also got to go through the feedback form because some of that stuff will hopefully be addressed. And if it's not, then you guys can pick me up on it and you can tell me if the ideas are good or bad or anything like that. So one of the things with EsportsWales is we want to be transparent. It's a community-based organisation, so feedback from the community is very important to us, and doing this is kind of what we need to do to get that feedback and sort of see how it goes. So we'll I'll answer some of the questions sort of near the end. I can see some coming in, so I'll stop halfway through and sort of do some depending on how many come through. So cool. If I get started, presentation, questions at the top, it should be good there. So I'll start clicking through. Hopefully everyone can see that okay. I'll leave the slide thing on there. If it gets pinned at the top, I'll move it. Let me just make that full screen. Cool. There we go. Right. The first few are going to be a bit boring, but it's generally just covering the strat documents changes. So if I'm assuming most people haven't read our strategy document on the website, but it's there, or an older version is there if anyone wants to read it. And it's generally what EsportsWales is designed to do. And how we sort of moving forward with things really. But that was written probably like 2 years ago, maybe. So there's a few updates, a few ways of changing, and it's kind of seeing where we go from there. Generally what esports is, I'm assuming most of the people in chat know that esports is competitive video gaming. This year we've had a few international tournaments. Being the first year we played in the Commonwealth Championships, and also heading into the World Championships in Bali the end of this month, which will be CS and eFootball going through that. Our core aims are the same. From 2018 when we sort of started, 2019 we became an official company. It's to support competitive gaming from the grassroots to professional level, and trying to find the best way to do that. The aim is to improve the standard of Welsh esports. Again, trying to find the best ways to do that. The reason I'm covering these is because this sort of points back to why we've changed some of the things going forward. And then the aim to provide opportunities for talent in Wales to be scouted by professional teams, nationwide and stuff like that. Cool. So generally, our sort of culture leadership thing is that we're EsportsWales. It's very much a Welsh-based company, and we want to link up to the Welsh culture, and doing that the best we can. Introducing more of the Welsh language if we can into the stuff we do, into the tweets, into the sort of social media, and sort of building that in. Again, similar for me doing this, being transparent, and letting people know what we're doing with EsportsWales, or what we're trying to do at least, and sort of getting that out there. And then also being the sort of governance side of trying to make sure that esports is safe, a safe environment. One of the things which, I don't know how you guys feel, but one of the things which I've found in esports, or especially the gaming space, is it's can be a bit sort of toxic sometimes, and it can be a bit, let's say, it's sort of not the most like secure or safe environment. So creating that will make it easier way for sort of pathways in the future for people getting involved in esports, and then a lot more sort of safer for people to invest money from sponsorships, or like parents getting people involved and that type of stuff. Our values haven't changed. Going through, making sure there's humour linked to it, there's traditional esports stuff, doing the right thing where we can, pursue our goals, a family success. I'm going to jump through some of these quickly because this is the boring stuff. I say the boring stuff, this is kind of what we're trying to do, but you can go back and read this if you ever want to. So Our purpose: more people, more often, more enjoyment, more success. And again, that highlights some of the changes which we've made and why we've made them. So getting more people involved in esports. Where it says we'll focus on Overwatch, Rocket League, League of Legends, and others, that's kind of not true, because it's kind of just covering like a lot of esports. And moving forward now, it's going to be covering different ones. We don't know what games are going to be selected next year. So that changes each year. From encouraging more female gamers, again, there's some stuff which will link up to that going forward. Yeah, and again, encouraging more volunteers, casters, support, and Welsh esports at all levels. More often, again, this is like a lot of these is going to link to why we've made these changes. Competitive gaming is our main focus, and we want to get more of that, because by having more competitive gaming means that more people involved, there's more casters, more opportunities, and just really builds the scene. Yeah, and then it's everything, so you using social media, stuff like that. More enjoyment, so hopefully we can get the right sort of community level stuff, and sort of build in from that side of things, and sort of, yeah, more enjoyment, more fun, getting these tournaments, getting people to meet up, have a laugh, and enjoy it from there. More success. So I think we've done alright this year. Like I've said to the players, and the sort of players who played with us this year for the national team and for the other teams, it's kind of, like I've said to them, it's kind of getting the EsportsWales name out there, showing that Wales is sort of able to compete on the stage. But the focus has been sort of more getting people out there the experience this year, rather than focus on sort of winning. While we've had success, we had a great turnout in the Commonwealth. We've had some good results in the Euros, and hopefully we'll do all right in the World Champs now coming up. But this is more sort of a benchmark. This is where we can sort of start off, and then next year, then it's going to be developing players even further, getting people who have had the opportunity to do it this year to sort of develop again and sort of move forward from that. Yeah, so from the pretty simple. It's the plan, sort of a circle through, is get the best players and coaches we can, achieve success, attract more supporters, get more sponsorship, which means we can reinvest in the game and sort of build in from that. So the idea is to just keep that sort of circle going, that growth, and sort of move it forward, really. Yeah, so this is going back from 2019 when we probably started. There was no esports team for Wales. It's very sort of male focused. We were kind of seen as the underdogs. There's kind of nothing to inspire the next generation. And I think sort of leading on from this year now, it's quite inclusive, involving especially some of the projects which we're working on, which I'll cover in a bit. It's kind of trying to focus at all levels, which again, you'll see sort of further on how we're looking to do that. Getting that national brand out there, inspiring sort of the next generation of players and sort of building on. So that's the sort of growth really from it all. The issues which we kind of have in Wales is with a aging population as such. Looking at our feedback, majority of our player base is on the younger side, but it's good to see that there's some players here which are sort of on the sort of older, and having that where it's inclusive and people can play together, and then also trying to work around people's lifestyles. So while there's an opportunity for people to play all the time, what we want to do is have it sort of a bit flexible where some people can sort of jump in and out, and it's not a case of you've got to be playing 20 hours a day to be able to compete. So that's kind of where we are. Team games, it's just the development and benefits from there, and then also the benefits of getting people involved in technology. That's a massive factor within sort of education. It's a massive factor in some of the sort of plans within the Welsh Government. So that's aligning with these sort of, there's a lot of benefits for us. Cool, yeah. So unity and alignment, trying to align Welsh esports across the board. That's something which we're looking at doing, and we're working with colleges, universities, schools, and also Welsh Government and a few others, just to make sure we get those linking up, really, and doing that. The player experience, hopefully the players who played for us this year have had a good experience. I'll be able to look at some of that now in the sort of feedback which we've had. But also, yeah, the clear pathways to moving through. So a case of, yeah, coming from the sort of ground first, the chance to play in, and then all the way up to top level. And then how you get a chance to be scouted by professional teams and that type of stuff. Supporter experience. Yeah, it's just making sure that, you know, we want that content to be shared. We want people to get involved with the, well, EsportsWales. We've said like membership cards and stuff like that. These are some of the things which we're kind of looking at in the future, and sort of develop forward, and sort of keep it sort of not just for the players, but also sort of the people wanting to get involved, wanting to support the Welsh team, and develop it from that. Cost down is a big one, because while some of the stuff which we're suggesting in this is planned, it's very dependent on funding and things we have. So if we don't get the sponsorship we require, there's probably going to be a lot of cuts in the sort of plans we have, and then it's going to struggle. So we hope to do everything we can do. If we have more, of course, it just means we'll have more paid opportunities rather than them being volunteer, and develop it from there. But at the start, it's going to be, we'll be planning out, and then as the sort of year goes on, we'll know if we'll be a higher sponsorship and things like that for them. Our people, again, it's making sure we sort of improve talent, recruiting the best people, developing them, yeah, and just making sure that we can sort of improve the people who come into the organisation, as well as like the our volunteers, committees reflect diversity. So it's not just a case of there's a sort of a group of guys running the teams. We kind of want to try and have like that diverse background within the teams to support them going forward. Yeah, so what the stakeholders, the success for the factors for the stakeholders. So we've got the different ones here. Again, a lot of these are stuff which we're going to be covering later, but I just wanted to put them in just to sort of see why they're here. So you've got like things like clear pathways for the grassroots, the Welsh team, opportunities to play at every level, a career beyond esports, improving the focus of well-being, as well, supporters, promoting more of the Welsh teams, fan loyalty, fulfilling supporters. Coaches is a difficult one. I'm still working on sort of how we take those steps, and how we sort of where those checks are. But yeah, building sort of coaches, developing the coaches, because if we can have better coaches in Wales, it means that we can develop better players and put those out. Similar for casting, creating that casting community, getting people developing, that side of things, and sort of growing the scene from there. Streamers, we do have a stream team at the moment, but we're looking to develop that further, and I'll run through some of the ideas for that. Volunteers, of course, volunteers is pretty much what makes EsportsWales stand up, and do everything it needs to do. The plan is hopefully that we can get more paid roles within EsportsWales, and then also can do that. But what we'd like to do is get those volunteers that opportunity to gain those skills, to be able to sort of then jump into a paid industry, either a paid role within EsportsWales or a paid role within another organisation. But yeah, hopefully with the new structure, there's probably going to be a lot of volunteer roles available, and it means that people will gain like a lot of experience from them, and how we can sort of step it forward, really. Commercial side of things, working in networking, creating partnerships, creating brand stuff and sort of developing things forward. And then you've got the stakeholders with partners, different sponsorships and stuff like that. The comment section, if you do want to ask any questions, feel free to check them in the chat, and yeah, I can answer them as either as we go along, or I'll answer them sort of after. It's probably best. So yeah, what does success look like in the game? More people playing esports, more formats, Welsh team, grassroots, supporting coaching, casting, more digital engagement, more content out there. You know, just improving things overall. Sort of what we need to develop. Yeah, and sort of moving it from that. Cool. So yeah, the feedback. Let me just let me go back a second. All right, there we go. Cool. This is the great because it's in presenter mode. Can I come up that? Right. Okay. Hopefully the questions will still stay on my other screen. Okay, I don't think it has done. So if anyone submits questions there, I saw someone submitted the CSGO one. And yeah, we are running more CSGO, planning to run more CSGO stuff. If the I'll have a check after I've run through the form stuff, but yeah, just to make sure the questions are coming up. Let's just make sure it's still there. Yeah, I can still see the questions coming in. So if you do have any questions, drop them in, and I can feedback there. Cool. So this is the survey which I put out. Generally is covering everything which well, we run over EsportsWales. Everything's anonymous. I have checked through. I couldn't see anything which was identifying people. So I want to keep it that way. But I think it would be better run it through on stream, so it's everyone can see what kind of feedback it was. And then also, yeah, you can feedback as well if you haven't heard back, or you can sort of just see it. And people can watch the VOD and stuff as well if they want to see things. So it's like 50 questions, so it's a fair few, but hopefully we can fly through them, and yeah, we can sort of see where it goes. So majority of them, like age limit, as I said, with the age sections, we haven't really done them in like 10 years gaps, because you've got like school, colleges, and things like that. We run like a 16+ community, but as you can see, majority of our player base is sort of below the sort of 24 age group, and then we've got a few in this sort of 25 to 34 group. But when you're looking at that group, it's a larger age group than what the other ones was, because then it goes into like 10-year gaps. But it's good to see that we've got a mixture of players sort of older as well. Why we sort of need to grow this is sort of the sort of the balance of sort of between genders is sort of quite small. It's quite a big difference, I mean. So that's something which we can improve on, but there is stuff in the works to sort of improve that. Living in Wales, surprisingly, there's quite a few living in Wales from it. That's like thing, but there's quite a few which has actually responded who are not living in Wales. I'm assuming those are generally the Welsh players who have now moved out to Wales, or it might be some people in Discord as well, which are not kind of linked. But you could see, which is quite good, is we're kind of like, out of the survey, we're kind of based all over Wales. There isn't really like a fixed location, but Caerphilly's quite a high one, so is Swansea. But as you can see, it's quite evenly spread across Wales. was the nationality. Majority of people have filled this in Welsh, but we do have people in Discord who aren't Welsh are still getting involved. There's quite a lot of people, which I was quite surprised at, do suffer from mental health issues. Which is, as I sort of put on Twitter, it's quite sad to see it's that high, but it's sort of understandable. One of the good things though is that it does look like a lot of people do benefit. Do benefit from gaming and mental health. Hopefully it means we can run more stuff with it. So the feedback, what people have said, the games, which I'll be feeding back to the teams, like community nights and stuff like that, which we look to run. So the games which they come back with, so it's like things like Sims. You've got everything here. So you've got World of Warcraft. Some people do like Overwatch, Ark, Skyrim. Just games you can play with friends. Rocket League, Dota, F1, Battlefield. You've got CS:GO, Valorant. These are stuff which would run CS:GO, League, Valorant, Overwatch, Call of Duty. You've got Minecraft, which we're looking at getting the Minecraft server back up and running. Apex, Valorant again, Football Manager, Call of Duty, F1, Rocket League. Just single player games, Rocket League, Valorant, Overwatch. I know that this is very much targeted to a esports community, so I would have thought some of them are going to be esports games, but as you can see, it's kind of like these are the stuff which we're looking to run from community's perspective. So it's not just a case of benefit players, it's also benefiting people's well-being by running these nights. So that's a good one to improve on. I sort of know why we're running these as well. But you can see the stuff here: CS:GO, Valorant, Dota, League, Valorant, Overwatch, Minecraft, Overwatch, Fortnite, Guild Wars 2, any Nintendo game, Valorant, Dragon Ball Z, Street Fighter. So there's a lot of a Valorant. There's a lot of Overwatch there. There's a lot of other games as well. By running some of the community stuff, we look to sort of focus on some of these games because people have fed back to do it really. Yes, EsportsWales will do some competitive in-person events in 2023. That was a question that's just come in. Cool. How could it better support mental health? So I'll run through these now one sec. So we got hanging out, meeting new people. Discord does a good job of accepting it, so that's quite good. Communal events, regardless of skill level. Again, this is some of the changes which we've changed to the community side, and why we've made these changes is kind of based off it's based off this feedback as well as based off a few other things. It's based off our strategic plan to kind of change things to meet that, as well as feedback from this to make sure we link in. In-person events, yes, we will be looking at doing more of those. Different events as people talk to, keeping everyone included. Again, this is going to be a lot of this is the community side of things, and focus it from there. Mental health chat. Okay. With the mental health well-being champion, it's difficult to provide without someone with training as such. I've got the safeguarding lead and a few other training stuff, and sort of could provide some mental health support if required. And there's also a lot of stuff in the Discord. If you go to the wellbeing channel, there's a lot of stuff tagged on there with links which sort of could provide help. Whereas if we had a champion, we'd need to make sure they were qualified in some sense, because what we wouldn't want to do is have them providing incorrect information. Yeah, so it's either getting some volunteers trained to be able to do that, or yeah, sort of supporting it from that side of things, if that makes sense. Okay, I'll run through some of these. Cause, that one I'll run, but I come back to off stream, just because I think that's quite direct of one person. But you know, straight away it was this one just covers well-being of the volunteers, and I think I do think that's important. It's definitely sort of balance of people's abilities over things. Yeah, continue building the community. A lot of people are saying mental health ambassadors, so it might be something which we'll have to look at getting is seeing if we can get someone either to jump in chat with those skills and sort of develop it from there, or sort of see where we can move things forward and sort of promote things from there. Yeah, hello, welcome extra people in chat. Yeah, so no direct way, talking to everyone, they can feel that they aren't meant to be kept to themselves. People saying it does do a good job. Getting more involved in the fighting game scene. Making sure people know what services are available to them. As I said, there is the links on the chat, on the wellbeing chat, and having a wellbeing team is something which we'd like to do, but it's sort of checking the sort of funding, if it's available, or sort of someone who's qualified to be able to do that. Cool. Right. So, do you think EsportsWales does enough to support women in gaming? We've had 3 no's, 24 not sure's. So that probably shows that we're not doing it, or not doing it well enough. But again, that will that'll get fed back in one of the projects which we're working on. Rate the Discord. Again, it's sort of the way Microsoft Forms works is you get a bit of like a link through depending on sort of people's results. So you'll get like a sort of an idea of where you stand. So yeah, I think the Discord could definitely be improved. But from going through these, at least it's on the positive side. I'm surprised the moderation is so good, considering we currently don't have a lot of moderators within the Discord. But I find it seems to self-moderate as such, and staff tend to sort of pick that up and sort of develop it further. So that's sort of one of the things which we're looking to do. How could EsportsWales further support female LGBTQ plus BAM or the minority groups? What have we got? Thank you for being welcome in already. Have members in senior roles. I think that's having more like female members or things in senior roles. Okay, that's a fair point from the question. Not saying they're a minority and treating them equally. That was more of a question to see how we can develop those sort of get more people involved as such and make sure it's a safe space. It wasn't kind of trying to sort of focus any targeting of those groups within that question. Can't comment, only just joined. Do more events. We are looking to run in more events. Now we've got an ambassador which is looking at promoting those. Keep everyone equally included. I think everyone's involved in most stuff. We've tried to expand to all areas of Wales. Again, us following some of the changes. So issue is language. Female is the boss set. Women's preferred as refers to gender. Okay, excellent. I think we've always used women. In the press community as much. Okay, that's probably something which myself and the team EsportsWales might need to look at changing some of our terminology throughout EsportsWales, just to sort of make sure that's on point. Again, we're looking at doing more events, meet up for those groups. That's another thing which I'd like to do from those event side of things, and speaking with the woman ambassador and the LGBTQ ambassador, we're looking at sort of doing more events from that side of things. We having these looking to run. Yeah, so a lot of this is kind of like we haven't been running it that well, but it's looking like we're going to be doing that more forward, moving forward. It's considered fairly safe environment. I'm surprised there's a few people who've kind of rated it quite low. But I think that was just like, you've got 1 or 2 people who've rated 4. I'm a bit, someone's rated 0. I'm a bit surprised of that. But if anyone feels that EsportsWales is an unsafe environment, they can feel free to drop me a message, so we can have a chat and see how we can improve. Yeah, and where we're kind of going wrong really from that. How we can improve the community side, all gaming centric, like Rocket League, F1, making more teams within Wales, prize cups, keep F1 teams, continue to engage with the community. Communities need to join with yourselves to grow esports. More small LAN events. More competitive, multiple gaming, community tournaments, school workshops, community cups, more advertisement, provide social events, spreading awareness through social media, school clubs, support more ground esports, and competing in tournaments, placing top 10 consistently, yet struggle to find Welsh org to represent my endeavours. Yeah, provide social events. So it's a lot of stuff which, again, some of the changes which we're looking at doing. That'll be, yeah, that'll be why we're making some of these changes to kind of to help with those. What would they like to see? Or what would you guys like to see, I guess? Overwatch, Rainbow Six, local catch-ups, more female-driven nights, maybe weekly, would be awesome. FIFA, Fall Guys, F1, prize cups, big tournaments brings light to the world scene, watch parties, gaming tournaments, Overwatch, Call of Duty, especially with Modern Warfare releasing, speed runs, LANs, knockout tournaments, big gaming events, Valorants, a lot of meetups, Comic Cons, trips, monthly gaming meetups, yeah, FIFA, Smite, MMO stuff. So yeah, again, a lot of stuff which we planned, we'll be kind of covering these. Yeah, and just sort of seeing how we can kind of develop it from there. It's time. I'm just realising I'm only on number 16, so I don't want to be on this all night. But I keep you guys, I think, if you do have any questions and stuff, just drop them either in chat or in the Google Slides form. I can run through and kind of keep up with things. Cool, yeah, so how do you socialise with friends? I think Discord is like majority of these. You got things like board games as well, playing games. But considering that this went out on social media and it went out to the gaming crowd, it's like Discord seems to be the main one. So it just means that Discord is going to be used as one of our main platforms for communicating with the community. Do we think we have delivered enough opportunities? Again, it shows that we're not delivering that much with EsportsWales, but yeah, there's a sort of a mixed bag there. It should hopefully will be better when we change the team setup, but we can sort of see where it goes. I'm surprised people would pay for a community tournament, but that might mean if we can't get the sponsorships and can't build up, it might be something which is what we'd look to do is probably not run community tournaments on the paid side, but some of the sort of higher level teams or open tournaments which we run, we might look to run them with a prize pool, but in doing so, some of that will be offset by teams signing up, and then taking a payment for those. Have you taken part in the community events? So let's go through. So these are the community events people took part on. Again, they can improve because we've had sort of a bit of a middle in the road, but it's on the positive side, which is better than some. Like there aren't many like low numbers, which is good. And then the same year, like, there's a lot of 10s. If you would recommend the community nights, which is good for the people who've got involved. How we can improve them. Again, some newbie friendly community caps. Bring forfeits. Can be bringing laughs. More structure to them, more organised, more of a variety of games. Yeah, and sort of running through, seeing how we can improve things there. Describe your community experience. People are very friendly as far as I can tell, haven't engaged much with them. Very friendly, loads of people looking to play Rocket League, Dota, bit of LOL. Welcoming, knowledgeable, not extremely good, not extremely bad, in the middle. Can be awkward times. Someone said they're poor. Again, we don't know who said which community nights they are, but if they are poor ones, we need to sort of improve across the board. It may be that some are poor and then some of the other ones are running okay. So we need to make sure they're quite good across the board. Shout out to Conch and Alex, which looks like someone's saying they're really cool there. Really positive from that side of things. So, then we've got the larger events, which are Open Cups, Welsh Masters and Bespoke events. People have mainly played the Open tournaments. It's quite a lot of detractors from this, where people have like voted 0 or down to like the 5s. Again, I'm not sure why that is, but it's sort of something which we need to improve on going forward and making sure we can develop it from that. Whether you're about social media, how often generally people check out social media daily, how often they check the website. Majority of people never. I don't know who's the one person who checks our website daily, but thank you. But yeah, people look in the website. From the social media side of things, kind of what we knew anyway, but mostly focused on Twitter, Instagram, then our third is Facebook. You've got WhatsApp, Snapchat, and like hardly anyone uses LinkedIn for the preferred social media. People who played for the teams, majority of people didn't, but there's a few who played for them, and then which teams they played for. Yeah, that'll probably narrow it down, but Did we off Discord offer the right channels? So a few people said we needed to improve. It was easy to apply for the teams, which is good. I'm surprised there's a few people who wouldn't recommend the teams. Wouldn't recommend playing in the teams, which is a bit of a shame to a friend. But hopefully, hopefully we can improve at some point and develop that forward. Again, similar with the game managers, there's some low scores there. Again, it's something hopefully we can improve on going forward. Would you like to see more Welsh content? It's about a 50-50. Some people wouldn't, but for the people who do, then I think it's just generating that, and then if it's there, if people want to see it, if people don't want to see it, it's like they can just not look at it. But us creating it means there's a benefit for it. Newsletter we're looking to develop with MailChimp, putting that in place. So yeah, goes on to the more of the negative stuff. I guess me on Twitch like this is probably one of the reasons how we could improve. But like from the sort of feedback which we've had on some of these, I totally see where people are coming from. There's definitely a lot of things which we can improve. We haven't got a lot of content, as much content out there as we'd like to. It's mainly down to time and having the people to run it, and down to the money then if you want to pay for production to get it done. So yeah, I understand it. I think when we do run tournaments, when we do run high level streams, I think the content is good. But I think outside of those, I think that's where we kind of lack. Yeah, and I think like even tonight, like this isn't top level production. It's me going through some foam stuff, but it's something which we'll need to improve on in time, especially sort of as we develop things. Branding, I think, like looking at it, there's a few people don't like our branding. When did that just do that? Yeah, some people don't like the branding, but I like our branding. I don't think it's going to change much, other than a few things with sort of the logo's not going to change anytime soon. It's going to be it's going to be something which we'll like look to sort of develop forward, but yeah, it's a case of the branding side of things is not going to change much. It's something which we'll improve on. Some of the stuff is ad hoc, but yeah, it's definitely something we will look at and sort of putting more in place and developing forward. Rate the YouTube content. I totally agree. Our YouTube stuff is not great. Our YouTube stuff is mainly used as an archiving solution for our Twitch. I know that's not how it should be used, and I know it's something which we need to go through and develop. It's having the time to do it, and then having a video editor to do that stuff. We haven't had a video editor in place to create some of that content which we'd like to put out. So as I said, it's been used as that, so I totally understand. I get where that's coming from. I hope that we can improve this rating and get that forward. But yeah, it's something which we need to look at improving moving forward. With regards to the website posts, again, I know those are not great. I know they haven't been as I guess as it should be. It should have been a lot of content put out, a lot more content about players, about some of the sort of things which we're getting involved with. But that's kind of lacking on time and getting people to sort of write in those articles. That's again something which I definitely want to improve going into next year. And sort of get a lot more of that content, either going backwards and getting some of the things which we've sort of done this year and getting that written up and put on the website, or it's a case of just getting all the things which we'll be covering next year really, and sort of putting pieces together for that. Cool. We've only got a few questions left, so thank you everyone who's hanging on to just get through these, but it's running the content and yeah, just making sure everyone's comments is is seen and heard, and yeah, how we can put it in place really. So additional comments from the creative side. Everything's well designed, screams Wales. One thing I would say about the colours, would add green. That's a fair point. Which you like to see more content on Twitch. Yes, I agree. Well done. More content, YouTube content. Again, yes, I agree. It needs to be, I don't know how to describe it, eye-catching. I'm not sure what that would include, but yeah. If you can give me more information on that, I can have a look. Yeah, clean, interactive. Really check the website. You could, yeah. That's fair enough. If you haven't checked it out, you can't really comment. Cool. So these are other parts which I do understand where they've come from. It's a shame they're that low, but yeah, I do understand them. So we generally work with the college and the college scene over the university scene, where we've done more things like linking with social media and stuff like that. But we probably haven't done as the same amount as what we'd like to do. More like sort of coaching sessions, more sessions with them, generally down to time, and having the people to be able to go into those colleges to do like paid talks and stuff like that. So I get where that's coming from. Hopefully we can improve going forward for next year. Similar for the university scene. It's very difficult to cover the university scene when you're not in there. Not knowing fixtures, not knowing results. So you're kind of covering it based off what's all posted on social media, and then trying to sort of be reactive. The way I'd like to change both of these is have a content form provided to these organisations. I'd see now we can sort of improve that that pipeline, I guess, from these like the schools, colleges, universities into Esports Wales, and have that sort of background then of what Esports Wales can offer these a bit more to try and improve those scores. And it's the same for the like I kind of expected this one to be lower as well because of those, but I think sort of outside the college and university, what we're doing for the grassroots scene will improve based off the sort of the ideas and stuff which we're moving forward with. But yeah, I know these are low scores, but hopefully we can improve them going into next year. Yeah, and just really see what we could do. I'm going to have a bit more time to work on the esports stuff next year, so that'll mean that at least I'll be able to do more things. But by getting some of the people now have been in the national team, had the experience of going to like Commonwealth or going to international tournaments, and getting them into schools and colleges to do those talks or provide that information, I think will be beneficial, and hopefully will improve this score really, and how we can sort of develop it forward. And then we've got clear vision. I believe we have got a clear vision, just showing you through the stuff which we've got planned. Hopefully they'll show that we have. And then as for the right objectives, we're going off the objectives which are in our strategic plan, what you seen earlier. So that's why we're doing the stuff we're doing, the way we're doing them. And sort of, it's not focused on one game, it's focused on multiple games. We're trying to sort of do that all at once is, yeah, a lot. But yeah, hopefully we're getting there. Cool. So final stuff, worth getting involved more in the NSE, which is the University Esports League. Possibly coaching sessions, high ranked players, better scores for Welsh university teams. I totally agree with that. Confirm, I feel F1 esports is left aside, that's a fair point. It's developed, like the F1 has been really good over the last few years, and I think why we've struggled is we haven't had a lot of the content going out from them, and those links, so it's kind of dropped from there. yeah, the F1 scene might change slightly. I put 5 for the last ones. I'm not sure what you mean there. More events would able to expand my casting. I don't know what that is, but yeah, more events would potentially do that. Focus on creating or helping to create more events in Wales. Again, that's something which we're looking at doing. Beneficial place where we can have and honestly report people that are in Discord. Sometimes people across boundaries outside of Discord server. Yes, that is outside of our hands. If anything like that happens, there's stuff which we can assist with. But if anything happens outside of the Discord server, it's normally depending on how they've contacted you. If you've met them through here, while we'll be able to think it, if they kind of, we'll be able to sort of assist. But it gets we sort of base it based off the rules of our Discord, and if they're within the rules with our Discord, then that's fine. But if it's things like harassment or something like that, then we'll be able to sort of assist where we can, and yeah, just try and make it safer. If it's through another Discord or on an online side of things, I'm sure the other Discords or other places will have like remote report options or block options, which you'll be able to use there. Fighting, yeah, we do need to link up with the fighting stuff. Maybe branding, different companies supported by them, EsportsWales. Yeah, and having more sponsors best. Cool, right. That was sorry, a long yeah, that was a long talk about running through. So that was covering the feedback stuff. Yeah, if you've got some ideas, feel free to chuck them in, and I could go through. So now, finally, after 40 odd minutes of me just waffling, and sort of running through everything, all the feedback, I've read through some of the majority of the feedback for this, and that's why I've kind of taken these steps. So you'll be able to see the steps which we've taken, as well as this plan and sort of moving it forward, how we want to do things, and then how we can move things forward from there. So, the cool stuff. So the first one, is if it works, is the EsportsWales Weekly. Like I said, I want to create clear pathways for the colleges and universities to come in. Also, we want to get that more regular. So if people want to help out with EsportsWales Weekly, we've got a form there. People can join in, be host within EsportsWales Weekly. While it goes out on a Sunday, it doesn't need to go out on a Sunday. Doesn't need to be created on a Sunday. The idea is it covers a week's information and sort of develops from there. Also, I've created a news form which will be provided to the colleges and the universities. And what will happen there is that they'll be able to submit news and what's happening in theirs, as well as like we'll probably put on Discord and stuff. It's not going to be like we want to see, I don't know, just generic esports posts. It's not something which we're looking at. We want to see like Welsh, like sort of things. So maybe it might be scores from the universities, scores from the colleges, something like one of the players have done really well, or one of the sort of coaches have done well, something like that, which we can sort of feed in into esports, into EsportsWales, but also then into the EsportsWales Weekly show, which we can run, and it's going to be a bit more relaxed, a bit more sort of chatting about things, and then just covering a lot of stuff, improving it from there. So yeah, I want to keep that going. It might not run every week, but the EsportsWales Weekly is a good show to sort of have. We've been like going all the way back to a few years ago now. We've run the show, so if we can carry on developing it, that's kind of where we want to go really. Hello to the new people who joined chat. Yeah, so that's kind of where we are. So it's a case of we want to talk about Wales, what's happening in Wales, where things are going on, why it's going on, just general culture of Wales, having a bit of a laugh, maybe pulling in some streamers, pulling in some chats and doing that. So that's one thing. Next one is the Iris project. So some of the stuff which come up was women in gaming, how we can support the growth there with EsportsWales. Why I've been able to sort of do this full time now, because starting in January I'll be doing esports full time. Will be as I'm be majority working on this project, but this project will be covering England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Australia, I think as well, and Wales. But we'll be supporting Wales and supporting the growth here. So it'll be growing the scene, but not just growing the scene sort of globally, but also growing the scene in Wales, which will also support, improve the sort of, improve Wales as a whole. Yeah, and that's what we want, and we want to create that sort of safer space within Wales, and by having these links, I think that'll sort of move it forward. So where we've had those questions and that feedback, and those numbers being low, hopefully this will show that we are looking to support, and trying to do it in the best way forward. And by working sort of on this project and with the other nations, hopefully we can, just make sure it carries on growing. So the next one is the community stuff. The way we change things is before we used to have like community cups and stuff like that. We are going to continue having community cups, but there's like a purpose for each one. So we've got Give It a Try Newbie Nights, which is your like bottom level. It's playing with someone who either wants to try the game or hasn't played the game before, or wants to just play some casual games. It's something which is quite chilled. If you've got some high level players, maybe jumping in and giving some tips on how they can improve. That's your sort of starting base. Then you're looking to play, so it's a case of getting that community playing together. So people having the opportunity to just jump on and play. People might say like organising like ranked Overwatch or ranked League of Legends or CS:GO or something like that, where people can jump in and play together, sort of certain nights. Also, excuse me. Then we've got the community events. So community events, playing with everyone else, but they're non-competitive. So things like if you look at like Minecraft, if you look at I don't know, maybe Ark as such, like things like Rust, board games, while they can be competitive, some of them are a bit more chilled, Animal Crossing, any co-op games, and then also doing like some things like quiz nights, physical meetups, developing, and sort of, supporting that side of things. So that's kind of where we want to that's the classification for our community events, and where we kind of want to sort of build that up from. And then our change from before is what we had is community cups. Community cups now previously used to be like open tournaments, and what we don't want to do is have sort of open community tournaments, and then them being sort of open community tournaments, and then also having them look as like competitive type of things. So we're changing the name as community tournaments. Community tournaments now be played as sort of alternative modes within games. They're competitive ways where you can play community stuff. So it's a case of having like 1v1 in CS:GO, Rocket League modes, League of Legends, ARAM, some Dota stuff, Golf with Friends, Fall Guys, Multiverses, some of the stuff which is just generally fun, people can get play and sort of develop with that, and then run bespoke nights, which can sort of improve the sort of where we've got groups like sort of women, where we want to support the sort of women scene and grow that, or the LGBTQ meetup stuff. We could do that and sort of all filter and all run sort of under the same area. So that's the like community stuff, and where we're looking to grow that. We're looking at having tokens. The bot needs to be improved from what it was last month, but we're looking at having tokens run most months now, and then in doing so, the each month when people play in these community nights on community cups, they won't be running cash prizes, but they'll be winning tokens, and then the more tokens you have, the more likely you are to win in the sort of giveaways which we run. Building from that. So if anyone wants to get involved with the community stuff, all the community events should be on Discord and be posted on social media. So yeah, feel free to check them out. Get involved where you can. The next one is our stream team. So it's had a bit. It's going to have a bit of a facelift, a bit more of like a 80s vibe, and a bit of a different take on the EsportsWales logo. So this is going to be our stream team. The stream team is open now. We're going to be drop it in chat. We're going to be looking for, at the moment, we started with 5. One's dropped. Two's like potentially dropped from the stream team. We want to keep improving it and we'll keep on doing it. So we'd like to go up to 10. But of course we want to make sure that those people match our brand. Supports EsportsWales going forward. It's sort of people with streaming, like things where we could help is kind of what we got here. So be the Discord role, helping out with like tech things. We had previously like linking with like HyperX brand. We could add go live tweets and things like that. It won't be all the time. It'll be things like streamer spotlight. If you've got multiple people who play the same game, could be squad up events, or if they're playing like national team or another team, it's a case of you could do like sort of jumping in for like scrims or something like that, and that getting streamed and publicised from the EsportsWales side. After we're doing EsportsWales streams like this, normally if we run a tournament though, we get a few more viewers and stuff. We'll be able to raid people, and we'll only look to sort of raid the streamers which we have on our stream team. There'll be stuff on the website, so it'll be I think there's on the front page it might be, but there's also a section on there for official streamers. I'd like that section to be rebranded as such with some of this theme when you go into that. And then it's also like YouTube videos, potentially like the shout outs on the EsportsWales weekly, who's streamed this week, what stuff did they stream, and the other thing then is giveaway opportunities where depending on our sponsorships develop and our sort of partnerships with companies, it may be an option where we sort of provide our official streamers with things which they can give away on their streams, to sort of develop it from there. So that's the stream team. Next thing which we're looking at doing, which won't be started until 2023, is the EsportsWales Academy. The EsportsWales Academy is what it's going to be is 12 plus, and what people said and the things was where we failed schools, colleges, universities, possibly going in and providing some sessions from like a younger age group, but then also if we could develop the academy, be going in and developing more high level content, things like improving coaching, things like improving graphical skills, written skills, anything like if people want to sort of develop, to work in the esports industry, somewhere where we can develop those sessions and develop people to go in and sort of deliver them, as well as having an academy program where we can look to develop players through and sort of build it from there. And it's sort of the academy, I can see someone saying when they would like to run them. That would be dependent on like locations and how we can sort of facilitate them. But what we'd like to do is set them up sort of available across the board really. And how we can sort of do it. Some sessions we might actually look to get paid and delivered online, and just have a free academy sessions where people can jump in and we can get someone providing some tips on production or providing some tips on content creation or something like that, where people can just open free content which people can get involved with and develop it from there. But it's also utilising some of the arenas which we've got in colleges and universities now, where we can sort of take people in and deliver like a session on like coaching or how they can improve as players, and other tips from there. So that kind of covers the academy stuff. From the schools and colleges, what we can offer schools and colleges, again, it's building up that. So it's providing advice, guidance, providing resources, helping build better teams. So seeing if we can link them up with coaches and things like that for the British Esports Champs. We can provide advertisement for their teams, retweeting. We can help with events management, whether it's sort of just helping them get set up or sort of working with them to create an event. We can set up future tournaments, coaching sessions, and then like organise talks as well, as I said before, which hopefully again can help improve what we look to do, sort of where we sort of was lacking in the feedback. And it's similar for the universities. It's a similar sort of thing which we look to do. Again, reaching out to societies and seeing if people want it in the societies, at least giving them the option, and then speaking to the universities and seeing if we can arrange those, because it might be beneficial for them, and how we can sort of develop it from there. This is what we can kind of offer the organisations. Like Belong now has previously gone in Cardiff, but there's Belong in Wrexham, and sort of where we can sort of see where we can link up with stores, and again providing those talks, viewing parties, watch parties, stuff like that, and see how we can develop from where we are and make it sort of more community based and also like regional based, from there really. Unfortunately, one of the things which I've been thinking about for a while, and I think is probably the best move to go for, is at the end of this year we'll look to drop Tan and Ya, which has been our teams, our like regional teams for the last 3 years. Unfortunately they weren't strong enough from the grassroots scenes. I've been trying to get sponsorship for them, to see if we can develop. We just haven't had that sponsorship from there. We've had like a game manager would be in place as a volunteer side of things, and then they would just about get a team together. Either the team would stay and the game manager would drop, or the team would drop, and then we'd struggle with that side of things. So it's been like a constant rotation. There hasn't been the tournaments there for it. And it's just kind of lacked really. Whereas it's quite difficult to get a Welsh-based or sort of majority Welsh-based team to play in these high-level leagues in the UK, and then the bubble leagues are just not there so much. So unfortunately that means the Tan and Ya will be dropped at the end of the year. We'll still keep the social medias, because hopefully we can bring them back at some point, or at least use them in some way. But yeah, going forward, that's the reason why we'd be looking at dropping those. So moving on from that, one of the things which we're looking to create is Welsh Esports Hub. So I've been working on that with Epic LAN. They're the ones who will be providing our system and a new tournament system. That tournament system will be the reason why we're going with it is it allows to keep it quite safe. It means that we can run things with like Cardiff Youth. It's going to be structured. It's going to be based for player registration. People sort of potentially looking for a team, having approved coaches, approved tournament admins on there, seeing if we can get community attendance on there, the team registration tournament system. So it'll be all on this hub. Some stuff will still probably, like some of the open tournaments, we still might run on challenger mode, and see how that goes, where we can have like mixed teams on that. But with regards to the hub system, it'll be like that's where you want to register for your player base. So if you were a case of going, you want to play for Wales in future, where we've had in the past, we've had Google Forms, we've had all the information on that. It's going to be a case of I'll just be pointing everyone to this, and then everyone gets signed up on this system. You update your ranks and stuff on there, and then when it comes to selection period, we can just click through, sort. We can find the best players on there, all the players who've played in our tournaments and stuff, and that's where we're able to go, right, okay, these are the players. And over the years, then we can keep directing people to this system to develop going forward, and we look to continue development of the system. So yeah, see where it goes really. Cool. Yeah, if anyone's got any questions, feel free to check it into. It's a different link now, but if you just chuck it in there, I can see them, and then yeah, I'll be able to come back. Cool. So that's the hub. So unfortunately, with the teams dropping, the hub is the next step, and then in doing so, the next step, we have what's going to be the Welsh Esports League. So this is the branding for the Welsh Esports League. If I click this, so the branding was done with by Dewey Thomas. It's a really good brand. If I just move this a second, I can play this and you guys can see it.
But I could be so much worse. You could call me narcissistic, could say I'm out of worth. Could call me this God of Satan. I could be so much worse. I thank God that I'm not you. I thank God that I'm not you. I thank God that I'm not you. I thank God that I'm not you.
Cool. Yeah, so that's the Welsh Esports League. It was called Esports League Wales, but we've switched it back around to Welsh Esports League. Yeah, generally looking at all the pieces and sort of content, the strategy behind it, why we designed, why the logo. So it's like the valleys and hills within Wales. It's got its own typography. We got taglines like dig deep, which links to like the mines and stuff like that in Wales. The sort of branding and stuff will be different for each game. Potential if we do a live event at some point, which hopefully we will, what potential staff t-shirts and shirts would look like for the event, as well as some branding, some tournament stuff, social media side of things. Potentially if it was in Motorpoint or in Swansea Arena, something like that. Some more additional stuff like how it could look on social media, depending on who they're playing, and yeah, how we look to develop that forward. So we got the branding ready for the Welsh Esports League. The awkward thing is we haven't got the teams in Wales for it, and that's again pointed to the direction of why we looked to drop Tan and Yar. because our teams wouldn't be able to kind of fit into the Welsh Esports League. Yeah, so what we wanted to do is create. What I've kind of done is look to create the regions. Oh, I don't know why it's just in that. Let me throw it back to print mode. Here we go. So the regions. Yeah, so the way we're looking at doing this is slightly different to how esports teams run, mainly because when we've had or run open tournaments, it's been mixed rosters, and mixed rosters will run for a bit and then get dropped or drop themselves, and then they can't attract sponsorship themselves, they can't attract support themselves. Sometimes they fall about and don't really run teams in the best way with the mixed rosters, and doesn't really help there. So the idea is that these regions have been selected and sort of really sort of split around Wales, because they got links with colleges, they got links with universities, they got links with traditional traditional sports teams, I should say. Yeah, and sort of where we can sort of build that up. So you've got all of these as well as being linked to either the traditional sport teams in the regions, which may have stronger links with those, and then also some of the sort of like stories and stuff. So you've got the goats with the Ladino goats, I think it is, which invaded the town during lockdown, I think. And then you've got the robins, which are linked to also sort of linked to Wrexham. You've got the artists then, which are linked to Aberystwyth, as it's got the biggest art museum. There you've got the puffins for Puffin Islands in Pembrokeshire. You've got the swans, which links to Swansea and potentially Swansea Football Club. You've got the ponies. The reason why we still wasn't sure about the Valleys team, but we're looking at ponies due to the pit pony, which is in Parnalta Park. The pit ponies are the ponies used to take in the mines, sort of do that. So you've got that. Then you've got the dragons, which potentially link with Newport Dragons, sort of seen there. And then the bluebirds then, which is linked to Cardiff Blues, and you've got Cardiff Blues, and then you've got the bluebirds is Cardiff City Football Club. So those are what's going to be the teams. At the moment, I have people who I think would be suited for the committees, but we're looking at having people in those regions who will be committee members of these organisations. And while it's the Welsh Esports League will start as like a franchise, the idea is just to support these 8 teams to develop us first, and then once they get to a point that these are developed, and like EsportsWales wants to get them to a point where like these are successful businesses on their own as such, then we can kind of sort of step back and look for other teams to sort of get involved. But we want to have the right people running these teams, so we can look at making sure it's safeguarding in place, make sure harassment policies, make sure we're promoting inclusive teams and sort of benefiting everything from that side of things. So that's our goal. Hopefully that sounds alright to everyone. So where you would potentially play for a mixed roster, what we'd like you to do is like sign up when we get the hub set up, or before then it might be where we'll get people signing up for these teams, and then you'll be looking to play for one of these teams. You don't have to play for your region. So if you live in South Wales, you can still potentially play for the Goats, and if you live in North Wales, you could still potentially play for the Swans, Bluebirds, or something like that. The idea is that these teams would be 50% Welsh, including a sub. So if there was, let's say, Dota Dota would be there'd be 6 of you with the sub, so 3 of you would need to be Welsh, where the other 3 could be from anywhere. At the moment, we're not planning on having a physical event, but in future, we may look at having a physical event, which means that while you can have people from sort of Europe who can play or sort of other areas, as long as they play on the servers, if we were to have a physical event, we would expect the team to travel to get there. But currently, that's not on the radar for next year for these teams. While there are physical events sort of looked at, we're not looking at doing it as a, like, finals for these leagues, just down to working with the publishers and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the league, all the teams which we potentially have in the league, and the branding for the league. The tournament system for it would be so each team would play in a 4-week. Each time we would play in a 4-week block. So you would have you would play for 4 weeks. You would have what would be 7 games in those 4 weeks. So you would play like your games every like Monday. So there'd be 1 to 2 games being played every Monday. And you'd play those for, like, let's say Dota, and then Tuesday would be Rainbow Six games going on. Wednesdays would be CS:GO. Thursdays would be Overwatch. Fridays would be a fighting game. We haven't selected the games yet. And then after that month, so that would be your sort of January, and then the next month then would be the next 5 games. So while it would work for like 2 months. Like Dota would run for 3 months of the year. You would have then like League running for 3 months of the year as well, but they wouldn't be running at the same time. So what you would have is 1 month would be like, let's say Dota, and then the next month next to League, and then the same for some of the other games where they switch. Some of these may change based on which weeks, but the idea is we keep this format and carry on running it. So this is kind of what we want to do for the sponsorship side of things. This is where we look at having the casting opportunities. So it'd be every Monday for 2 games. We would look for those 2 games to be casted on the EsportsWales channel. So that'd be every Tuesday. Then we'd be looking for having the F1 races. Every Wednesday we'd be having a look at the Rocket League. These would definitely change because we wouldn't run Rocket League on a Wednesday because it would clash with the British Esports Champs. So I do have the correct ones on you, but this is how we look to run that. So it'd be a case of having those. It'd probably be like best of ones or something like that, starting off. But that's how we'd look to run the full league. Yeah, for the next year as such. Due to time and stuff, I'm waiting for some final things to work out with the tournament system to get that in place. I sort of develop from there, and then it's also moving forward with it really, and sort of seeing where we can develop. But once we've got the tournament system in place, and the teams with the committees, we'll look at scouting for all those teams, and then really just starting out. I don't think 8 teams is a massive stretch. I know that we might struggle with some of the games for this, but we're not looking at all like top level players. It's a case of giving the opportunity for everyone to get involved for the first year, and then hopefully people's talent will develop, and these teams will get more competitive as it goes on. So next is the Welsh Masters. Some of you played in the Welsh Masters last year. As you can probably see, it's changed slightly from the Papa John's logo we had last time to a bit more links to St. David's Day. We wanted to do that to make it a bit more just suiting sort of the Welsh side of things. So yeah, it's going to be the same. When we know what games are going to be selected for the national teams, we'll still be running the Welsh Masters in sort of March and April, and we'll still be pushing on for the selection, depending on what games we're going to know. And hopefully with the Welsh Esports League, we'll know a few teams getting involved there. Also for the cups, previously we used to call these community cups. We're looking at changing these to be like Welsh Open cups, or open tournaments. Mainly being that these are open to anyone, and these are probably the ones which we'd look to run on things like Challenger mode. Whereas any rosters, mixed rosters, can join. We don't. There's no restrictions, or we don't have any restrictions on percentage of the teams that are required to be Welsh, or anything like that. Then while we had them into community cups before, that's kind of not what it is. So it's open to all. There's no restrictions. These would also then be what we'd look to do, where we potentially would have some restrictions and have things like the similar logos, similar styles, to have college cups, university varsity matches, and doing that where it's kind of open to all colleges in Wales, but not expecting us to fill those. And the same for the university side, like where we could have like 4 university teams playing against each other for a cup, and not expecting then to be like everyone joins. So that's kind of the idea for the cups or tournaments, which probably be weekend based. Sort of linked in from there. We've also built in national teams, so we're continuing to play in the IESF, the EEF, and trying to link up with the British Esports to enter into things and feed in players into Team GB. So we'll carry on looking to build national teams and run the national teams for next year, supporting them from there. We would like to have, or working towards, a international tournament, something with like home nations playing each other, maybe like on a friendly basis or something like we've run with Scotland before. It's going to be a case of seeing how we develop from there. But hopefully there's some stuff in the pipeline which we can put out, and there's another tournament which we can run. And then clear pathways. So kind of going back all the way for a couple of hours ago, really, of what the pathways are. This is kind of what I've kind of come up with, and it's quite clear then of what are the pathways for someone who wants to get involved in esports, to develop in EsportsWales. So you've got the Esports Academy, you've got the schools and colleges playing in the British Esports, and like the Welsh College Cup, or Welsh school stuff. Then you've got the universities playing in NSC and Newell, and then any like Welsh varsity matches which we put on. You've got esports teams, which will be our potentially 8 esports teams which we'll have based in Wales then, because currently we like haven't got many based in Wales esports teams. So you've got the likes of, you'll have then the goats, the ponies, the robins, the bluebirds type stuff, and those linking into that. You've got the Welsh Masters, which of course is our national selection tournament. You've got the Welsh Esports League, you've got Epic LAN, you've got Insomnia, you've got the Scottish Esports League. You've got a few other things as well to get involved with from the tournament side of things. And then the pro level tournaments like RLCS and stuff. And then you've got national team, which is how we get it, which is playing in the EEF, the IESF, and then playing as Team GB in the Global Esports Federation stuff. So you've got those pathways and clear pathway, I think, and the steps on how someone can develop as a player, from like you give it a try all the way up to the sort of the steps to professional level. And then similar to that, we've got the path to industry, and then that's how you can look to get a career in esports. So I'd say starting out with getting the interest within the industry, messages on Discord, looking at like getting education in it, so whether it's BTECs, UALs, university degrees, accredited coaches, any ESW coaches which we run, any advice guidance coaches, courses which we would provide within EsportsWales. You've got volunteer stuff then with volunteer roles within the teams which we run within the Welsh Esports League, or volunteer roles within EsportsWales. You've got freelance roles, which will be the next step for EsportsWales on paying people to do various jobs. And then you've got the full-time roles within the esports industry, whether that'll be within EsportsWales or whether that'll be in the esports industry, really. And then there's our org chart. So slightly different on the org chart which we've got now. This is what we're looking at doing moving forward for 2023. With the org chart, depending on the funding, we'd like to pay the roles which are in colour and then sort of filter that down. But that's going to be massively dependent on what sponsorship or partnership or grants funding and things like that which come through. But yeah, hopefully we can carry on developing it. And then some of these will sort of match up. So where we'll pay people on like a freelance basis to come in and run things, or like we're required to pay certain things on like a freelance basis. That's kind of where we'd fit. I know people will be doing volunteer roles, but it might be the same person doing the freelance as well as the volunteer. But it would differ on, we would pay them for some roles, for some things, and then not afford to pay them for other things, and where they would do it from a volunteer's perspective. Yeah, and that's it. So yeah, I'll run through any additional questions if anyone has any. So from what have I got yet? From CSGO, yes, there's CSGO. So if I run back to the league, there will be CSGO. There will also be Valorant. So I can see someone else has also asked, is there anything Valorant related? And then more casting. There will be. This is quite ambitious. If this works, then there'll be more than 6 months of esports casting required, which is a lot. That's all dependent on funding. We can develop it from there, really. There's already a Welsh CSGO team. We're sending them to Bali, or we're going to Bali at the end of the month with them to play out in the World Championships. For the teams, the CSGO teams in this side, it's probably going to be looking at it's probably going to be looking at sort of like that lower level. This is like bubble league, if you think of it that way. We're not going to be expecting the ESL players to be entering this tournament. It's going to be kind of open, and by having it 50% Welsh means that it's going to sort of allow for a lot more of that sort of casual 5-a-side Sunday football league where people can get involved with and play. So I'm hoping that will sort of still bring in your gold, plat, silver level players into the league, and it'll sort of allow us to grow from that perspective, because that's the kind of, this first year, that's going to be where we're looking to sort of start off, and then sort of after the first split, after the winter split, that's when the like transfer window will open, and then you'll get the next split then where people will be selected, and then you'll have another transfer window and another team to be selected. But overall, these teams will be developing. By them being regional based means that they'll be able to reach out to local sponsors and see if they can sponsor their team, which will bring in money from that side of things. If you speak to Stata in Discord, Lizzo, it's too late now because teams have been selected, but there might be opportunities for you to be selected next year for the CSGO team. Yeah, I look at it from there, really. Cool. Yeah, so that's kind of all the questions. If anyone has any more questions, do you want to chuck them in stream now? You're more than welcome to play Mercy in the Overwatch team in any of the tournaments which we run. Yeah, from the point of view of if anyone does want to apply for staff, everyone will be looking to everyone will be looking to reapply for their roles within EsportsWales following for the 2023 year. That's the form if anyone is interested in joining. You need to be 18 plus and require some sort of knowledge of whatever you're applying for. But yeah, we look to sort of develop people as they come in and sort of move from there really. It's just people sort of being able to give their time and sort it out from there. Cool. Yeah, so as I don't think there's any other additional questions, I'm going to end the stream there. Thank you all for sticking around and checking out kind of what we had in store. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot there. There's a lot of changes. But yeah, this is the biggest change. And we'll, as EsportsWales, will try and facilitate moving teams to these. And I think by the links with colleges, universities, and sort of developing the teams within Wales, I think that's going to sort of grow the scene the best way. Whereas Tan and Yar playing on like a UK or European level, we've never had the sort of development for that. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. So thank you all, and have a good evening, and I shall catch you all soon. So good night. No start.